Namaste. Welcome to Current Affairs with Jyotsna Sharma, my exclusive show on ITV Gold that focuses on current affairs and events that are relevant to you. Well, today I am back with another interesting and important topic that will be current forever. Today I am going to talk about the effects of social media, or say the electronic gadgets that definitely lead you to the usage of social media, on the mental health. Now, let me introduce you to our esteemed guest who will be talking about this topic. We have our first guest, Dr. Neeru Prasad, MD. She has her background in pediatrics and emergency medicine. Dr. Prasad, very warm welcome to you.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. And I have another guest with me. Her name is Suruchi Saini. She is a licensed professional counselor and a certified clinical trauma and professional and certified yoga teacher in New Jersey, USA. Suruchi, very warm welcome to you.
Thank you very much, Jyotsna. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Indeed, I really feel very happy today as we are, about to, say goodbye to 2022 and we are treading into 2023. This is the time to talk about the most happening thing, that would be the social media. Of course, people will be engrossed in posting pictures, messages, updates about what's happening around. But then this social media has taken a big toll in our lives. And today I really need your help and support and guidance to understand why is social media affecting mental health in a negative manner. I understand there are some positives, but more to negative. My first and foremost question, I'll address to both of you is, why is present day social media becoming an addiction? Dr. Prasad, first you and then I'll go to Suruchi.
Okay, the reason social media is becoming more addiction is more and more people are getting involved themselves with the iPhone, with the snap phone, all texting. So what happens, the more they sit the more they click on the iPhones, there is a liberation of dopamine from the brain. And the dopamine comes from the midbrain, it goes through the nerve channels, and it elevates the mood. So they get high. The more these people get high, the more they want to talk to the others, and just later on it becomes an addiction. They don't want to leave it.
So, Dr. Prasad, you mean to say dopamine is the substance that gets a hike, it gets uplifted when we are on the social media, whether it's using iPhones, Android, or whatever. It's just the medium. But of course, we are on the Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, or whatever handles we are on. Anytime we are clicking on, we are getting a like from somebody, a comment from somebody, that increases our dopamine levels in the brain?
Yes. The dopamine level increases. Then the people get excited and they want to use more and more of this. And that's what then later on it becomes a part of their addiction. They don't want to quit until something bad happens. But this is what the addiction is.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad. I'll go to Suruchi on the same question. Suruchi, of course, you being a licensed professional counselor, when we speak about this kind of addiction, when there is some high we are getting through our interaction on this virtual platform where, people are real, of course, but they are not sitting in front of us. How, it is becoming an addiction? Why, majorly?
So if we think about it, what happens in an addictive mind is basically once we start to use certain thing and we get a kick out of it, we want to do it again and again and again. And with the phone, the problem is it is available all the time right next to our bed, on our desk, on the dining table, on the coffee table. At least when it comes to the other drugs, you still have to spend some money, buy them, and then get addicted. So the phone is such an available drug right in the middle of our home. And people, first it starts with a kick, and then we start scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Even when we are not getting a kick, we continue to scroll because now the addiction is also combined with the behavior. So before this whole social media revolution, or whichever way you would like to call it, it used to be, we will look for happiness, we will look for contentment in life, which happens through serotonin, which is a different chemical in our brain. But dopamine, like Dr. Prasad very beautifully said, dopamine gives us a kick, and it gives us a high. It does not give us happiness. It does not give us contentment. We want more.
Oh
And
my
that is the
God.
short combination of getting addicted.
My goodness. So you are definitely speaking that this is like a drug. As the dopamine is released there, it's kind of a drug effect, okay, and that's
Yes,
coming through our gadgets and social media usage. Whereas
absolutely.
serotonin would have been a happiness element which comes through natural processing. Say we are meeting our friends in person, celebrating certain things and other things, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's
Wow.
a, and that's why I think the younger generation, because their processing is slow, and dopamine also affect our prefrontal cortex, which is our judgment center, emotional regulation. It's all getting very disturbed actually.
Okay, so now my next question would be, if that be the effect, and it is definitely affecting our brains somewhere, what are the major negative effects, that are coming combined together because of these gadgets being used, or say social media, into our lives now so much that they have become our integral part of our lifestyle. What are the negatives that come to the mental health?
Asking me?
Dr. Prasad, yes, you may go first and then I will
Yes,
finish it.
okay. What happens, the continuous of that, the continuous use of social phone, what happens, the people get isolated once because they are all the time focused on their phone, and the isolation from their friends, from the surroundings, it affects their behavior. They become lonely. If it is a kid, they are unable to keep up focused with the class. So the anxiety later on leads to a kind of depression. So once they are depressed, then they go more on the social media because they want to talk to somebody on internet because they don't have a personal contact. And when they start talking, then they will connect with the people who have a similar issue like them, like addiction and to the media. And that's how, and that leads to the social, it causes depression, their body image, they lose their self self confidence, and it leads to furthermore, sometimes it can lead to a violent behavior like bullyism or more. So this is what happens. The more and more you use, it causes mental anxiety, loneliness, depression, and they are kind of isolated all by themselves. Just they have their own world
Got
they
you.
have their own world
All
on the
right.
internet.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad. Suruchi, kindly add up.
Absolutely. So I'll divide them quickly into two parts, physical effects and mental effects. So let's start with the physical effects because people are easily able to relate with it. So physical effects, first and foremost, is obesity. We don't realize it, but since we have our phone and our whole world in our hand, we have tendency to move less. We have tendency to while we are eating, the phone is right in front of you. We are eating in front of TV, which is also part of social media in a way, playing video games, not stepping out. And obesity also means every single vital of your body will be affected for sure. So physical effects are a lot more. And second, we are a lot of neuroscience research is saying that remember the evolution chart we used to see in our, I think, biology books in
Right.
fifth grade or sixth grade. We were like animals, then we bent backward, straight, and we became straight human beings.
Absolutely.
Because of social media use, physically, we are bending forward again. So this to me is very dangerous. Where are we heading to? Because our spine carries the whole neurological information system. And if our spine is getting bent, I am not able to even comprehend what is it going to do to our brain and to all our vitals, especially our lungs.
My God,
You know,
this is scary. In fact,
this is
the inputs that you're
scary.
giving.
Yeah, so that's the physical part of it. When you go to the mental health, like again, Dr. Prasad said, anxiety and depression, absolutely. The anxiety has increased multi-folds in past 5 to 8 years, I'll say. On the top of it, we don't know when we dig deeper. the people who are always using social media or always are around all these electromagnetic field and devices, they have 3 times more chances of getting brain tumors.
Oh my God.
We need to understand the depth where it is affecting. We are constantly stimulated. ADHD cases are going up, bipolar cases are going up. This is almost like a pandemic, and we are not realizing it. Especially, it pains me when I see adults doing that, because children are just they are just seeing what adults are doing, and we continue. They say, "Oh, that's the right thing to do." So
Right.
relationships are getting affected, social skills are gone, conflicts are there, safety. People have a phone in their hands, they are crossing roads, driving, and worse, suicide rate is up because people are bored, depressed, and anxious. So do
Well,
the calculation.
you have given us a scary input, I would say, as we feel that these phones in our hands, or the gadgets that we have, and we access this virtual world and interact with the people around the world in a virtual manner, is so dangerous. Well, my another question is about, at what level a person should be able to understand that they're going into this addiction of social media, or say gadgets and other things that they're using, when and how do they identify now it is not just the normal pleasure game, accessing some Facebook accounts or Instagrams or TikToks and other videos, but now they are deeply going into the addiction? How would you break it up? Any of you would like to answer, Suruchi or
So
Dr.?
I answer that very well to you.
Right.
All these violent behaviors, hyperactive brain that you see, shooting and all those, they are all as an example of this high use of social media that affects the amygdala. Amygdala is a little lobe on the brain that is located in the thalamus. Once that lobe is affected, they become hyperactive with all this abnormal behavior. Especially people who have a post-concussion injury, their hypothalamus is already less than functioning less. On the top of that, continuous use of this social media, they become more disruptive, and this disruptiveness causes them to have a violent behavior. And that is the time, when they realize that this is not all real. And then Harvard has done a lot of research on this topic. There are a lot of researches
Well,
that have
we understand, Dr.
effect of
Prasad, with the researches, that's why you are here and giving us a crux of that. Dr. Prasad, just briefly tell us, what does exactly hypothalamus in our brain do exactly, so that our general people in a generic knowledge level understand that?
Imagine the structure of the brain. There's a cerebral cortex, cerebellum, and at the base of the brain, there is a little area called hypothalamus. Hypothalamus area, it's very sensitive area, and that is mostly carries the sensory changes, sensations, and all that. The little lobe in there is the amygdala, and that area hyperfunction becomes responsible for all this hyperactive behavior,
Got you.
shooting.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Prasad. Suruchi, on an easier note, I understand, of course, Dr. Prasad is giving precise details, but of course, for our general public, just let's elucidate in a simpler term also, when we speak about how do we make a difference, or how do we judge ourselves when we are going into addiction now? It's not just the normal usual usage of the social media platforms that we are using, but we are addicts now. How do we identify that?
So basically what you do, think about some positive thoughts. Stay active. Again, the basic things in life, stay active, watch your health, think positive, and let the negative thoughts go behind you.
Right, Dr. Prasad, thank you. I'm actually addressing this question to Suruchi, to understand a difference level, how the threshold is reached. Through Suruchi, inputs from you, and then I'll come back to you, Dr. Prasad. Another question there.
So I think the easier way to understand will be what we do with when somebody has alcohol addiction. A person, the few inputs that we always give as part of psychoeducation is if there are a lot of people, especially the people who you know that they care for you, if they have started telling you, I think you are too much on the phone, you need to put your phone down, how many hours were you on the phone? This is exactly what happens when somebody gets addicted to alcohol or weed or any other drug. People who are close to you start saying, your functioning has been disrupted, you are getting angry unnecessarily, irritability rates are very, very high, your patience is low, something has shifted in your personality, and definitely you don't have a lot of self control that you used to be. If you keep, this is for audience also, if you keep hearing these things invariably from your near dear ones who really care for you, or at least you know that once upon the time they care for you, I think that should be a very simple way of finding that something is not right and I need to change that. And for your self check, if for everybody again, for your self check, if you see that you don't use cell phone for 2 hours and you do not feel comfortable in yourself and in your own home or at your work, well, at work you should not be, but with yourself, you know that something is wrong over here. Basically, if you cannot do without your phone for just 2 hours, that means you are already on the way of losing capacity to be with yourself, to be productive, to be healthier, to sit peacefully, or like I said in the beginning, to be happy and content in life with something at least. So these are short signs that I think everybody needs to be very careful and mindful of yourself first and your near dear ones.
Very interesting. Dr. Prasad, my question is to you now. From the medical perspective, if somebody has gone into this deep addiction now, how do they come out of it? First is definitely to identify that they are into this addiction of, this using these gadgets or social media apps and everything. And then is to come out of that. How should they be able to come out?
I'm very happy you asked this question because I did a lot of research studies on this. It just says that, you get rid of all the apps that are toxic to you. There's a toxic app syndrome. I read it in one of the Boston paper. Remove the talk, instead send the message by the texting, remove Snapchat, remove Instagram, instead, just load yourself with some good apps. Track the screen time like 2 hours and reduce distraction, block those distractions, and practice mindfulness. So that is very important, to be compassionate, pause, and set the boundaries. Take control of yourself. Take control of yourself. And, American Academy of Pediatrics, they have launched so many apps for this. And the links are all with me. I will be very happy to send you all the information.
Sure.
How to control yourself, how to reduce the app, how to add more app to your cell phones.
Interesting. Thank you for those inputs, Dr. Prasad. And of course, Suruchi, from being a lifestyle coach, you are a counselor. How would you address this situation?
In addition to what Dr. Prasad said, I'll also say if anybody out of the audience is on a journey to try or to let go of this addiction, when you are reducing your reducing your apps, I would also say at the same time try to replace with something which is healthier, so that your time is occupied, your energy is occupied. Also, if you need, seek help at any point. You can ask your friends and family to help. You can ask a professional therapist or a counselor. It's all confidential information. You can do that. And definitely mindfulness is huge in this. So mindfulness, basically, if you think with a full mind, holistically, completely, that how I need to stop, what can I do to stop it, and how can I implement or practice, that will kickstart your mindfulness journey. And I can assure every person who is listening that when we start to practice mindfulness, we don't need artificial stimulation. We don't need artificial things to make us happier, because human being in itself is so complete, and we are so wise naturally. It's just because of all these artificial things, our wisdom, our bigger self starts to take a backseat, and all these social media people, celebrities, etc., they start to take our they occupy our brain. So vacate your place in your brain. And just on a side note, I'm not saying social media or technology is bad, but what I'm trying to say is, if you want to use it, make sure you control it. This does not control you.
Yes. So thank you for these brilliant inputs, Suruchi and Dr. Prasad. I actually, on a generic note, the question is, a normal person like me, of course, people have different professions, people have different tastes, So social media platforms are the places where they, would go hunt down some information also, or see what's happening around. They get to know about their friends, who's wearing what, who's partying hard, who's not, who's visiting places, So there's a kind of an interest that is being created through these platforms. Now the thing is, the question is, when they are in the process of identifying their existence through that platform, like I will feel little lesser present in the society if I'm not on social media today, because a lot of events that are happening, we get updated through those channels, right? Now we cannot shun it, or we cannot completely, do away with them. What is the midway out?
The problem is, the last thing, don't forget parental behavior, good surroundings, family issue. They play a significant role with those whole things. Parents can watch how many hours they have the cell phone on. Then they can get rid of the toxic medias. Behavioral medicine plays a very significant role for taking care of the mental anxiety, depression that is associated with this addictive behavior.
Thank you for those inputs, Dr. Prasad. We're running short of time. Suruchi, your inputs, please, before we close, of course. It was a great discussion, and of course, I will carry it further with another episode with more details. But yes, inputs from you as well now.
Yes, quickly, with the, that's exactly what I was trying to say, that, I know social media is important, and technology is important. We have done such good interventions, inventions and everything. But again, it goes back to that, if we are able to control, if I am able to control my phone, if I am able to control my TV usage, if I'm able to control how much I am going to use and what kind of media I am going to consume, I will do much better on this. What we consume, it is what is going to come out of us. So, and how much we consume. Imagine if I'm going to overeat and think I'm not going to be obese. Not possible. Imagine if I eat all day and think, I don't know why I'm not feeling lighter. Not possible. So all I can tell you in one statement is, control your social media usage. Keep the control in your hand. Do not let technology and social media control you. It is important. Food is important. Social media is important. Relationships are important. Our brain is important. Our vitals and body is important. So try your best to have a balance. Exceptionally important. Most important.
Thank you so much. Thank you for these amazing inputs and eye-opening facts. Of course, I thank you both for your presence today. And I hope our audience will get a little more enlightened about the usage of social media. Next time you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Snapchat and whatnot in the world, and more applications would come, beware, beware. They are robbing you of your health, your mind, your mental peace, and your family life. And your professional life is getting compromised somewhere. So thank you for your inputs. And of course, before you leave, I would leave you with this input that Dr. Neeru Prasad has written a book, A Guide to Navigating Childhood Development and Well-Being. Do read this book. It's Amazon. It's available on the I think Amazon platform. Dr. Prasad.
Yeah, Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble.
And my book is Library of Congress, accepted by Library of Congress. All the donations go to UNICEF Foundation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prasad. To all our viewers, we wish you a fantastic
Thank you.
year beginning. As this is the last episode of my show for 2022, we'll see you in 2023 and we wish you a wonderful new year ahead. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you.
Happy New Year. Bye bye.
Thank you.